we have a restricted meeting. This was not all would require the presence of the cabinet members. Yun lang munang ano natin. But later on, as we rumble on maybe tomorrow or day after I shall have talked to the businessmen, then we can decide whether or not we can still modify the modified lockdown that we have imposed. Sige, I would like to turn over the floor to the Secretary of Health.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, members of the Cabinet and the IATF. Mr. President, good evening, Mr. Senator, the Chair on Committee on Health. Allow me, Mr. President, to read the Resolution 46A that will highlight the different geographic areas under the recommended community quarantine status, Mr. President. Babasahin ko na lang po, Mr. President. Whereas on March 16, 2020, to prevent the sharp rise of COVID-19 cases in the country, the President placed the entirety of Luzon under enhanced community quarantine until April 14, 2020. Whereas on March 30, 2020, to develop a science-based approach in determining the risk-based classification of areas in the country, the Interagency Task Force convened a sub-technical working group tasked to develop the LGU Epidemic Response Framework and to define parameters in assessing recent developments in the Philippine COVID-19 situation. Whereas on April 3, 2020, the IATF finalized the parameters for deciding on the lifting or extension of the enhanced community quarantine in Luzon, which include trends on the COVID-19 epidemiological curve, the health capacity of the country, the social factors, the economic factors, as well as the security factors. Whereas on April 30, 2020, the Office of the Executive Secretary issued Executive Order number 112 imposing an enhanced community quarantine in high-risk geographic areas of the Philippines and a general community quarantine in the rest of the country from May 1 to May 15, 2020, adopting the omnibus guidelines on the implementation thereof and for other purposes. Whereas on May 27, 2020, the IATF released an updated risk classification in all provinces, highly urbanized cities, and independent component cities in the country, placing localities under different classifications of community quarantine with the goal of balancing economic activity and public health. Whereas as of June 14, there is a total of 25,930 confirmed cases in the Philippines. Now, therefore, be it resolved, as it is hereby resolved, that the IATF approves the following. The recommendations of the IATF Screening and Validation Committee, as amended, are approved beginning 16th of June 2020. The community quarantine classification of provinces, highly urbanized cities, and independent component cities based on epidemic risk level, economic, social, and security considerations, and the appeals and commitment of local government units shall be adopted. Therefore, the following provinces, highly urbanized cities, and independent component cities shall be placed under modified general community quarantine or MGCQ until June 30, 2020. For Luzon, Cordillera Administrative Region or CAR, which includes Abra, Apayao, Benguet, Ifugao, Kalinga, Mountain Province, and Baguio City. For Region 1, Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, La Union, Pangasinan, and Dagupan City. Batanes, Region 3, Nueva Ecija, Pampanga, Zambales, Angeles City, Lucena City. Region 4B, Marinduque, Oriental Mindoro, Romblon, Palawan, Puerto Princesa City. And Region 5, Albay, Camarines Norte, Camarines Sur, Catanduanes, Masbate, Sorsogon, Legazpi City, and Naga City. For Visayas, Region 6, Aklan, Antique, Capiz, Guimaras, Iloilo, Negros Occidental, Iloilo City, Bacolod City, and Region 8, Iliran, Eastern Samar, Leyte, Northern Samar, Western Samar, Southern Leyte, Ormoc City, and Tacloban. Now, Region Zamboanga del Norte, Zamboanga del Sur, Zamboanga, Sibugay, Isabela City. For Region 10, we have Bukidnon, Camiguin, Lanao del Norte, Misamis Occidental, Misamis Oriental, Cagayan de Oro City. Region 11, we have Davao de Oro, Davao del Norte, del Sur, Davao Occidental, and Davao Oriental. Region 12, we have North Cotabato, Sarangani, Darat, Jato City. Region Raga, Agusan del Norte, Agusan del Sur, Island, Surigao del Norte, Surigao del Sur, Butuan City, and the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, which includes Basilan, Lanao del Sur, Maguindanao, Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, Cotabato City. The following highly urbanized cities, independent component cities shall be placed under general quarantine or GCQ until June 30, 2020. We have Region 2, Isabela, Nueva Vizcaya, Quirino, and Santiago City. Region 3, Bataan, Bulacan, Tarlac, Olongapo City. Region 4A, we have Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, Rizal, Quezon, and Mindoro. For Visayas, we have Region 7, All, Cebu, Negros Oriental, Siquijor, Mandaue City, Lapu-Lapu City. For Mindanao, we have Zamboanga City, Davao City. All cities of the National Capital Region, NCR, and the Municipality of Pateros shall be placed under GCQ until 30 June 2020. The NCR Regional Task Force RTF is hereby directed to monitor health system capacity and utilization rates across health facilities and ensure strict compliance to surveillance, isolation, treatment, and minimum health system standards. Due to the increasing number of new cases and widespread community transmission in majority of barangays in the city, as well as the consistent case doubling time of less than 7 days and significant increase in critical care utilization against critical care capacity, Cebu City shall be placed under enhanced community quarantine. This is the recommendation, Mr. President, for Cebu City to be escalated back to ECQ. For the same reasons, Talisay City, a component city under the province of Cebu, shall be placed under Modified Enhanced Community Quarantine or MECQ until June 30, 2020. All provinces, highly urbanized cities, and independent component cities are directed to observe the strict enforcement of the following measures. Minimum public health standards, especially uniform implementation in high-risk areas, such as healthcare settings, wet markets, supermarkets, government and workplaces, among others. Localized community quarantine in priority critical areas with community transmission with concurrence of the RIATF. Immediate facility-based isolation of all returning citizens, suspect, and probable cases. Scaling up of local health system capacity, especially for community isolation and critical care, including dedicated mechanical ventilators, ICU, isolation and ward beds for COVID-19 cases. And last but not least, submission of complete and accurate data through COVID Kaya and DOH Data Collect. The regional COVID special teams, in cooperation with the regional task force, are directed to A. Oversee and assist surveillance monitoring and contact tracing of suspect and probable cases with full mobilization of composite teams in areas with continuous transmission. develop a ground operations plan to urgently execute control and public health measures in the next 2 weeks. Sir, Mr. President, this IETF has been approved during the 46th Interagency Task Force meeting today, as reflected in the minutes of the meeting held this 15th of June 2020 via video conference. So these are signed by the chair of IETF and the co-chair, Secretary Carlo Alexi B. Nograles. Thank you, Mr. President.
We will talk about education, but the most pressing problem or the most question the question most asked is why is it that there is only a small drop in the tuition fees even with this new learning setup? You can answer that later and you can have your own order of talking.
Good evening, Mr. President. Good evening, Senator Bong. And good evening to my colleagues in the cabinet. Mr. President, we in DepEd are truly appreciative of this opportunity to brief you on the latest developments in education, because education is everyone's business, from the parents to the business people and of course our learners and our teachers. I would like to take up three items with you in my presentation. One is we'd like to share with you the latest enrollment data. Mr. President, we started enrollment period June 1 to 30 online. And as of in our presentation, we had a brief battle of quotes from you with media. Some parts of media would say the president says that you are like this, you are like that, and then I answer back with an exact quote of what you said during our last briefing with you last May 28. But thankfully that issue has now been resolved, because media is now busy with other concerns, especially court cases. Sagutan, parang religious debate, Mr. President, na sagutan about the same source. Sabi ni President ganun, tapos kami naman, sabi ni President ganyan. But we took your exact words. Anyway, insofar as enrollment, Mr. President, are concerned, enrollment numbers, we started enrollment June 1, and right now, supposedly the 15th day of the month, but it's actually mga 12 days lang ito, including the holidays, 11 days. It's already 10,654,795 learners, 10.6 million enrolling online with their parents, because we are not allowing any physical enrollment. The highest, of course, is ang highest is region 4A, and then you have region 3 and region 4. At the same time, also, those who are most vocal and about their concerns on the opening of school, Mr. President, are of course the LGUs, because education takes place in their territory. So now LGU support has been coming in, and every day we get messages of support from local government units, because we have been aggressively informing them of what our learning continuity program is about. Many assume, Mr. President, pag sabi mong opening ng school year, therefore it is face-to-face. And we have been saying that since May 8, pero it takes time for the idea to sink in, because usually pag opening ng school, we always think face-to-face or in-person enrollment. So we have an increasing number of local government support already. And also with the approval, the consent of the ILG Secretary, we met with 10 associations or leagues of local government, in the Philippines, including League of Provinces, League of Cities, League of Municipalities, Liga ng Barangay, League of Vice Governors, board members, etc. And we met with them for 5 hours, Mr. President, and answered their concerns about what this enrollment is all about. Mr. President, we also have, since May, we have April, we already started a roadmap because we had to select or identify a date, Mr. President, because we cannot keep people hanging. We have to have a target, we have to have a goal in view of all these developments. So as early as several months ago, we already consulted. We consulted nearly 800,000 respondents as to what is the appropriate date and what they would prefer. And August consistently came out because it's the closest to what the law says. So right now, mayroon na kaming roadmap, Mr. President, which we started May and June, remote enrollment, etc. Last time I was with you, Mr. President, I briefed you on the what a blended enrollment, blended curriculum is all about. First, it can be through a ICT platform. By the way, questions were raised as to why did we not use the UNICEF platform? Because UNICEF developed platform for other countries. The reason, Mr. President, is we already have a platform. And when we had a talk with UNICEF, sabi nila, we have a platform and there's no need for them to do it for us. And they are also giving us assistance, especially in the operation of this platform. Pero hindi na nila pinilit yung kanilang platform which they're doing for Ukraine and other countries. Now, sinabi na natin, Mr. President, kung hindi pwede sa online, kung pwede sa cellphone. There are 179 million cell phones, more humans than cell phones in the country. And I see a lot of cabinet members, hindi ko lang kaya, hindi ko sila ma-match, attending IATF meetings from their smartphones. And so mas marami yung cellphones kaysa tao. So kung hindi pwede yung platform, pwede sa cellphone. The other, which is attracting a lot of attention from other countries, is the use of television. Right now, there are many programs already on television because the law requires that 15% of airtime for television should be devoted for children. Sisingilin natin ito. So, all these possibilities, pero talagang kung wala talaga, Mr. President, walang internet, walang cellphone, walang TV, walang radio, yun sinasabi nating IBM that it's better manual. So we are producing also learning modules, but the children should not be going out to get the learning modules. This is where, Mr. President, kaya we are going to work very closely with local government units kasi yung mga barangay sa kanilang kiosk, sa kanilang where their offices are, doon i-deposit yung learning modules. Pipick upin ng parents, maybe kasi usually we allow one member of the family to go out, pick upin ng parents, and then in the afternoon, kung anong homework nila, ang teachers naman ang mag-pick up, i-correct. So, it will be a relay of materials. Kung talagang hanggang manual lang ang makayanan ng isang local government or isang school. So, ito, Mr. President, what is new? Everybody talks new normal, new normal. But what we are suggesting, Mr. President, is not really new. Because it has been there since the 1800s, like the radio. What is new is that we are placing the emphasis that we are placing on these alternative technologies because we agree with you that we should not be allowing our children to go to school or our teachers to go to school at this time until it is absolutely safe for them. But they can continue learning, Mr. President, So, yun na ang mga ibang mga ginagawa namin, yung pag-upskill ng teachers as well as the students themselves. So, the next and the last, of course, is the financing part. This is where would really be seeking your support in matters where we need to we need equipment, or we have to we are negotiating with the two telcos, Mr. President, na ililibre nila yung paggamit ng kanilang facilities. I just talked with one of them. And at the regional level, the regional directors are also negotiating with the local radio stations na so that we can reduce the costs. So we hope, and what we are asking, Mr. President, is ang appeal namin to allow us to continue our preparations based on the roadmap, kasi target namin August 24, no face-to-face on August 24 opening, to allow us to continue our preparations, kasi nakabuelo na kami, Mr. President. If suddenly we pull to a stop, then baka madapa kami. Kasi we are moving very, very fast and I'm checking with the regional directors every other day. And we will be providing you with readiness updates. And lastly, Mr. President, I would like to end my brief, kasi nandito naman ang details which your staff can study in detail. Ang sabi ni John Michael Greer, the future is under no obligation to wait patiently while we get ready. The future will not wait, and we don't want our children to wait and be left behind. Thank you, Mr. President, for all the years of support and stinting and questioning. Full support. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, ma'am. It was an excellent report. Actually, you just reiterated the things that well, you made it clear this time. That is what we have always meant when we said all those things in the past. I'd like to call on General Galvez to do his report.
Sir, we go around the Philippines, and we were able to visit Cebu, and also we look around on the different hospitals. Based on the report of Secretary Vince Dizon, he had a meeting this afternoon. We are all okay in terms of hospital occupancy. We are 30% in Metro Manila. But we have, I would like to report to the President na meron po tayong mga new cases sa Region 8. Meron po tayong 66 na new cases. It brought about by the LSIs, yung mga locally stranded individuals. Pagdating po doon, ay tinest po sila. Dahil po yung Region 8, meron na po tayong 2 testing center doon. Tinest po sila ng PCR. At meron po silang nakuha na 66. Ganun din po ang nangyayari po sa Lanao, dahil din po sa LSIs, ay nagkaroon po sila ng new cases na 30. Yun po ang report ko po ngayon. And then, nung pagbisita po namin sa Cebu po, sir, 2 araw po kami doon, nakita po namin talaga na medyo tumataas po yung mga severe cases. Meaning, yung mga hospital, marami po na-admit na na-intubate. So karamihan po sa kanila, kahapon po, may na-report po sila na sa ER, meron po na waiting for intubation, 8. And then, bukas po, magpapadala po kami ng mga ventilators. Ito po, dinonate po ni Mr. Ramon Ang ng San Miguel Corporation. Tinanggap po namin ni SND, more than 55 high flow nasal cannula. Ito po ay ginagamit po para sa oxygenation, at ito po ay isa sa magandang protocol na ginawa po ng PGH. So magpapadala po tayo sa Cebu ng 20 bukas po. Kasama po ang more or less mga 6,000 na PPE para po makatulong po doon sa Nag-usap po kami ni Sec Mike Dino, at kami po ay nagtutulungan para po maagapan yung sitwasyon po doon sa Cebu. Kasi po sa napag-alaman po namin sa 15 na matataas na cases po sa buong bansa, 11 po yun sa Cebu City. Masyadong mataas po, at dito po yung listahan na yung Cebu, Mambaling, mahigit na 680 po sa isang barangay. And then sa Luz, meron pong active case pa rin na 216. So talaga pong tumataas po yung sitwasyon doon at saka po sa Talisay, tumaas na rin po, meron pong mga additional cases. So 140 na po yung cases sa Talisay. So kaya po nag-usap po kami ni Secretary Duque na magkaroon po ng close observation po yung Cebu City kasi nagkakaroon po tayo ng tinatawag nating spike. Kaya po nag-usap po kami na magpapadala rin po siya ng surveillance team this coming Wednesday at inapprove na po nating secretary yung ng C295. So ganun po ang gagawin po natin. Meron din po tayong inaabangan po na repatriation galing po sa Malaysia at nagkaroon na po ng meeting po kanina. At yung po natin na meron po tayong more or less 5,000 po na inaayos po, nakikiusap po ang ating DFA na magkaroon po ng konting delay para at least ma-prepare po natin yung ating tinatawag na Zamboanga one-stop shop. Pero nakaprepare na po si Yusek Kiano at ang kanyang si Yusek Dodo Dulay, nag-usap-usap na po sila kanina. At yung pong ating mga tinatawag nating locally stranded dun po sa Malaysia ay ibabalik po natin ngayong mga last week po ng June at saka July po. Yun lang po, mahal na Presidente, ang aking may report sa inyo ngayon. At ako po ipupunta rin po sa Region 4A dahil ang Region 4A po medyo nakita po natin hindi pa ho gano'ng nag-i-improve yung kanilang mga sitwasyon. At nung last time po, nanggaling rin po ako sa Region 3, maganda po ang sitwasyon sa Region 3. Mukhang nag-improve po ay yung sitwasyon ng mga different provinces. Yung Bulacan lang po ang medyo tumataas pa rin po yung sitwasyon. Pero sa lahat po ng sa Luzon, maganda po ang sitwasyon sa Luzon. Kaya po mga karamihan po nag-MGCQ na po lahat. At bago po ako matapos, happy birthday po Senator Bongo.
Thank you for the narrative. Then go to General Anyo. It's your time.
Magandang gabi po, Mr. President. Ang ating mga local government units, ang ating DILG field officers, Philippine National Police, BGMP at Bureau of Fire Protection ay handang-handa na muli sa bagong classification na inapruban ng ating Pangulo. Noong Sabado ng gabi ay nagkaroon kami ng pagpupulong sa mga mayors ng National Capital Region, kasama rin ang ibang miyembro ng IATF, kasama si Secretary Lorenzana, Secretary Duque, Secretary Galvez, Secretary Dizon. Dito ay napagkasundoan natin na ang ating National Capital Region na ngayon ay under GCQ pa rin ay magiging agresibo sa pagpapatupad ng barangay lockdown. Kasi kahit na napapalit natin yung mga namamatay, pero marami pa rin positive cases, mga bagong cases sa National Capital Region. Kaya ito ang pagkakataon hanggang June 30 na ma-implement mabuti ang General Community Quarantine. At ang ating atensyon na binibigyan ngayon ay ang Cebu City, ang Talisay, sapagkat nagkaroon talaga ng spike at iniisip ko na magdagdag pa ng mga additional na kapulisan dito sa Cebu City para siguradong may patupad ang ECQ. Sa mga cases naman po na iniulat natin, ito yung mga barangay officials at mga LGU officials na nagkaroon ng mga anomaly sa ating pagpapatupad ng Social Amelioration Program. Nakatanggap tayo ng mga complaints mula sa 452 complainants. At mula dito ay 649 suspects ang ating naimbestigahan. At out of this investigation, nakabuo tayo ng 250 cases. At ito ay hinandle ng CIDG. 139 cases ay naipile na po sa Fiscal Office at ang iba ay susunod pa rin. Ito ay tuloy-tuloy sapagkat ayon po sa inyong pag-uutos, kailangang managot ang mga local government officials na nag-corrupt, nag-aksaya, at nag-abuso sa pag-distribute ng SAP. Meron din pong 885 na private persons ang ating naaresto sa iba't ibang mga krimen katulad ng hoarding, profiteering, manipulation of prices. So ito po ay masasabi nating economic sabotage habang meron tayong pandemic. Yung ating pong second tranche naman sa Social Amelioration Program na pinangungunahan po ng DSWD ay nagsisimula na po tayo ng ating rolling out ng second tranche. At ang maganda po rito ay pinagsama natin ang direct cash payment at saka electronic distribution. Bank-to-bank transfer, money transfer, digital wallet cards. So, mas mapapabilis po. At tutulong din po yung AAP at PNP sa pagdidistribute. Doon po sa mga na-left out, nakapag-account na tayo ng 4,269,458 families. So, yun lang po ang ulat na maibibigay ko, Mr. President. Salamat po.
Salamat, John Anyo. General Lorenzana will give his...
Magandang gabi, Ginoong Presidente. Kunti lang po itong report ko, parang update lang po ito ng mga ating campaign against COVID. Yung ating sitwasyon ngayon ay meron tayong 25,930 total cases. Mula rito, meron tayong recovery na 5,054. Ang natitirang active cases ay 18,888. Dito ay 18,412 yung mild o 97.4%. Asymptomatic 398. Yung critical ay 17 lang po, Mr. President. Ang ating mga namatay ay 1,088. Itong nakaraang 14 na araw ng Hunyo ay 10 lang kada araw ang namamatay. So, maganda po yung ating data. Dito naman po sa mga returning overseas Filipinos ay mula nung ito po ang total of 50,105 na yung ating na-repatriate sa kanilang mga probinsya. Mula 25 May hanggang June 14 ay meron tayong 41,000 na naibalik sa mga probinsya nila. Anong May 15 to 24 ay 8,922. So, ay tuloy-tuloy pa rin po, Mr. President, yung ating pag-repatriate at pagtanggap na ng mga OFWs na galing sa ibang bansa. At ang target natin ay hindi dapat magtagal ng limang araw at sila ay may repatriate na. So, yung Clark nung isang linggo, itong nakaraang linggo, ay nakapag-repatriate sila ng mga OFWs na galing sa ibang bansa sa loob lamang po ng 3 araw. Yun lang po, Mr. President. Thank you.
We will call now the Press Secretary to sum up all his report.
Yes, sir. Maraming salamat, Mr. President. Ngayon po ay naaprubahan niyo na po ang recommended na mga klasifikasyon ng iba't ibang mga riyon at syudad dito po sa ating Pilipinas. Ang pinakamataas pong classification na ECQ ay may impose po sa syudad ng city. Ang modified ECQ po ay may impose sa Talisay City. Ang Metro Manila po, kasama po ang karamihan ng mga lugar po sa Central Luzon ay mapapabahagi po sa GCQ. Ito po ang Metro Manila sa Region 2, Region 3 at 4A. Sa Visayas po, ang mga nasa GCQ pa rin ay ang Region 7, kasamang Bohol, Province of Cebu, Negros Oriental, Siquijor, Mandawi City, Lapu-Lapu City, at sa Mindanao po ay Zamboanga City and Davao City. So ang pinagbasihan po ng ating IATF ay yung tinatawag na case doubling rate at saka yung critical care capacity po. At as explained po by our Secretary of Health, yung mga lugar po na binalik sa ECQ at sa MECQ ay masyado pa pong mataas ang case doubling rate at nasa danger zone din po ang kanilang critical care capacity. Ang ibig sabihin po nito, wala ho masyadong magbabago dito po sa Metro Manila at sa iba pang parte ng Luzon na nasa GCQ. Bagamat karamihan po ng probinsya natin ngayon sa buong Pilipinas ay nasa modified GCQ na. Ganun pa man din na Mr. President, meron pa rin po tayong mga community quarantine sa buong Pilipinas. Hindi pa po tapos ang banta ng COVID-19 dahil wala pa pong bakuna at wala pa pong sakit. At pinaalalahan po natin ang ating mga kababayan na habang wala pa pong bakuna at wala pang gamot, kinakailangan manatiling malusog, social distancing, wearing of mask, paghuhugas po ng kamay. Salamat po.
That winds up our meeting for tonight. I suppose everything has been taken up. Everybody has had his chance to air his opinion and, of course, the corresponding rules that they had enforced. Mga kababayan ko, meron tayong isang tanong na gustong malaman ng halos lahat. Ito yung on why there is only a small drop in tuition fees despite there being no face-to-face classes. Nasagot na ni ano yan, and they may come up with the expanded explanation to the press para malaman ng lahat. As announced, schools will open on August 24, but there is still no face-to-face sessions until we get a vaccine. Because ang iposta mo dyan, in your desire to resume classes, ang kapalit niyan is really, the COVID is still here. Nandyan pa yung, hindi lang pa umabot pa sa iyo. Instead, we will follow a blended learning approach. Part of this learning strategy is distance and online learning using communications, technology, and digital devices. Now, for the far-flung areas, meron siyang, yun nga ang kawawa dyan is yung, may radyo sana, walang TV, walang cellphone, wala lahat. Ito yung mahirap na kung mayroon na lang sana silang radyo, pwede nang mabutit na namatay yung ingay. No? Sabi ito yung air prisoner para hindi kami magka-COVID. Ang problema nito, baka pag uwi namin, mag-chill na kami. That is not a problem of the Department of Education. But the lack of communications or how to get through these students, baski radyo lang. Ang radyo ngayon is hindi naman mahal. Will buy 300, sabi ni Secretary Briones. Baka kung magtagal ito talaga, sayang ang panahon, we might buy the radio at 300, maibigay sa lahat ng barangay, maabot ng radyo para naman yung mga mahirap, may communication sila sa teacher nila. Even without a face there, as long as you are really interested to learn, ito yung mga mahirap, kaawa naman. We will try to come up with something in the next few days. Maybe before the end of the week, I would be able to look for the money. Wala na tayong pera ngayon. I would look for the money to buy transistor radios to be distributed all throughout the country. We will try to do it. We might not be able to succeed to bring all of it to the barangay level, but we will try. I said, just give me until the end of the week. the battle of sa COVID is not over. Sabi ko, nandyan pa yung germ na yan at hindi nawawala. Depende lang. Arami na. Dito ang tinatamaan, it's about 26. It's still, I cannot say it's second wave because it is still increasing sa infected. Tapos ang namatay is 1,000. Although what is very heartening is the recovery, which is about 6,252. It's a good record compared to the other countries. I don't know if it has something to do with wala. Ang diferensya sa atin is weather. Maybe it's not too cold or the germ is not really comfortable in hot places. We are gradually easing restrictions to make way for our economic viability as individuals and as a nation. But it does not mean that we will forget our minimum health standards. Ganito yan eh. Hindi ko kayo mapigilan na lumabas. Hindi ko kayo mahuli lahat. Ang problema niyan, pati yung mga bata, kung samahin ninyo, or you allow your children to go out when the place is not yet ready for them to be outside at nagkasakit. Huwag ninyo kaming sisihin. Do not forget that we warned you about the grave consequences. Marami pang namamatay by the thousands sa Brazil. Ako, sinabi ko na kasi napunta ako ng Brazil. Maraming tao talaga doon, dikit-dikit. Sabi ko noong pag-umpisa pa lang, pag umabot ito ng South America, ang Brazil ang sinabi ko, delikado to. Dumating nga. It was a prophetic statement, but I know that I was there. Yung slum areas nila, kagaya rin sa atin. Ang mabuti na siguro dito, kasi naniniwala kayo sa inyong gobyerno. Well, if not really, sa personally, ayaw ako ninyo. Just listen to our advice because that's intended for everybody. At para sa kapakanan ninyo yan. Ngayon, kung umalumabas talaga kayo, you run the risk of getting infected, huwag ninyo kaming sisihin. Let us continue to observe proper social distancing kung maglabas kayo. Yung distance, magpalayo ka lang. Kung nandito ka sa Paranaque, iwasan mo yung taga Quezon City. Ganun kalayo. Para wala. I'm joking. Nagpapatawa lang ako kasi inaantok na kami. Kanina pa kami dito eh. Frequent hand washing. Kung wala to alcohol, mura lang man ito. Or, come to think of it really, maghugas ka lang ng kamay ng sabon. Yung ordinaryo lang na sabon, I do not have to mention the product, but yung sabon na panlaba, yung just on the safe side. Pag sabi niya, magsabi ka, kasing puti na nandamit ang kamay mo. yung may advertisement niyan. Mari, masyadong paputi ang labada mo. Hindi labada ho yan, kamay ko yan. Bear in mind that you have a part in our collective effort to prevail against the pandemic. Magkaisa talaga tayo dito. Kaya kung isa-isa tayo, wag tayo sumunod sa iba kasi yung iba, they're suffering. Especially those who declared na pwede nang lumabas. When knowing all along na nandyan pa ang COVID, hindi pa nawawala. The only way to fight COVID is vaccine or yung maybe yung miracle pill that would kill, just as an antibiotic would kill a bacteria. But itong virus cannot be killed by antibiotic. Katawan mo talaga ang mag-produce ng antibodies. Now, there's a pill, I hope it's true, na parang lalaban. And it can, maybe, sabi, kill the... yun ang maganda. Pag yun ang dumating, pag available na, mag-order na ako ng, then I will distribute it. I will personally supervise the distribution. Ako mismo, I will supervise the distribution of the whatever there is para to guarantee that everybody gets a fair share of the medicines and the medical care. With that, I would like to say daghang salamat sa inyong tanan. Thank you.
nilaksan